We're just waiting to start the broadcast effectively because we do this so the public are able to participate. And the live stream has started. So welcome to this hearing of Subcommittee A of the Licensing and Public Protection Committee of Birmingham City Council. I'm Councillor Philip Davis. I'll be chairing the hearing today. Before we start, could you all please mute your microphones for the moment? This will improve sound quality while I talk about procedure. And if you could also turn off your cameras with the exception committee members, as this helps us with any technical issues. Committee members will have their cameras switched on throughout the hearing. And again, could mobile phones please be on silent to avoid any distractions, etc. I confirm that this is a public meeting and is therefore being live streamed on the City Council's website in order that the general public can view it. The formal agenda is 1, notice of recording webcast. I advise the meeting to note that this is a public meeting and will be webcast for live or subsequent broadcast by the Council's meeting YouTube site via the link in the agenda, and that members of the press and public may record and take photographs except where there are confidential or exempt items. Item 2, declarations of interest. Members are reminded that they must declare all relevant pecuniary and non-pecuniary interests arising from any business to be discussed at this meeting. If a disclosable pecuniary interest is declared, a member must not speak or take part in that agenda item. Any declarations will be recorded in the minutes of the meeting. Item 3, apologies and notification of nominee members. Apologies were submitted on behalf of Councillor Beecham and Councillor Donaldson was the nominated substitute member. Item 4, the minutes. I confirm and sign the minutes of the meeting held on the 28th of June 2021 at 10:00 hours. Okay, that's the formalities of the agenda. So can I welcome you to this hearing for an application in respect of Rubino's Pizza, 1187 Bristol Road South, Northfield, Birmingham, B312SL. As I stated previously, I'm Councillor Philip Davis. I'm chairing the meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee. With me are the other members of the panel, Councillors Martin Straker-Welds and Diane Donaldson. Also present in this meeting are the following officers: the Licensing Officer, Mr. David Kennedy, Committee Manager, Meeting Manager, Ms. Katie Townsend, Committee Lawyer, Ms. Joanne Swampillai, and I spoke to the parties informally, but if they could now introduce themselves formally. Mr. Rahman representing Mr. Gulzar Khan. Mr. Rahman?
Yes, it's Mr. Rahman of Allerton and Gladstone Solicitors representing Mr. Gulzar Khan.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Khan is with you, as you indicated earlier. And then those making representations, Sarah Lavender of Licensing Enforcement.
Yes, good morning, Sarah Lavender from Licensing Enforcement.
Thank you. And I understand there are no other representations. We have seen written representation, but I understand nobody else is attending. At this stage, can I ask if anyone making representations, I think this is addressed to yourself, Ms. Lavender, would like to withdraw those representations at this stage of the hearing?
No, not at this stage.
Okay, thank you. So I assume all parties have read and understood the Licensing Committee's procedural rules sent out with the notice of today's hearing. Please note that given the nature of today's proceedings, I may at my discretion amend the procedural rules to reflect the fact this meeting is taking place online, but wish to assure you that all such amendments will not impact on the party's right to a fair hearing. We use the chat function, which I think most people are familiar with these days, to communicate additionally within the meeting. And one of the icons on your toolbar is a speech bubble. If you could confirm that you have access to the chat facility by typing in your own name now, that will assist us in terms of attendance at the meeting. So if we could just type that in now, all of us, and then we'll proceed after that. So you should find that at the top of your toolbar. So I'm just typing in my details now, and then we'll be able to proceed as I indicated. Okay. Okay, so thank you everyone for doing that. I don't think we have anybody dialed in on audio telephone. I think we're all online today. And if you want to speak at any point, please speak up verbally in the normal way, or you can use the chat system to indicate. Officers will monitor that and let me know if I've missed anything in the chat. Okay, now preliminary points is the next item. Does anybody wish to make any preliminary points at this stage?
Yes, Chair, it's Mr. Raymond speaking here. Chair, a notice of acting and also a statement from Mr. Khan was emailed on Friday. Can you confirm to me whether you are in receipt of that?
Yes, we are, but I know licensing wants to make some representations about that. So, Mr. Raymond, can I go to licensing, Mr. Kennedy? And then I'll obviously get your comments on the procedural issues this raises. Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you, Chair. At 5:39 p.m. on Friday, the 15th of October, a Safer Raymond sent an email direct to committee services notifying that a Shams Raymond would be representing the applicant at the hearing this morning and attaching a 28-page supplementary evidence bundle. As the supplementary evidence bundle was not sent to the licensing section, we were not able to disclose it to those making representations, members, and or publish the supporting evidence on CIMUS in advance of this morning's hearing. Having recently had an opportunity to review the document, I can advise members that there is a 2-page witness statement from the applicant, 1 page relating to receipt for £200, and 1 page which is a copy of a passport. The remainder of the 28-page bundle is the application itself, which is already published in today's report, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Raymond, we have received your documentation, but I understand the difficulty is it didn't give us the relevant notice period of attendance. That is perhaps less significant than the fact that it didn't give us appropriate notice of the supporting documents, in that it's not so much a difficulty for the committee members because we have access to the documents and could read them in an adjournment, but the difficulty is we've had no opportunity to see redacted documents distributed to the public through the usual channels. And that means any public objections that anybody might want to raise would not be possible. So this raises some issues we'll have to adjourn to consider. But would you like to comment on those, on any matters that have been raised?
Yes. Well, first and foremost, my submission is these proceedings are subject to Article 6, the right to a fair trial, and therefore, in our humble submissions, we say that these documents are important as supplementary evidence, and they outweigh. While it's regretful, because of the timing issue, but they outweigh any the fact that there's been a procedural failure in not giving the document sufficient time to be made available to the public in a redacted form. I think that these documents, in particular my client's witness statement, is basically addresses the grounds which I'm sure we'll do later on in the substantive hearing. But at this point in time, the witness statement, my client is going to be basically reinforcing his witness statement. So, it's in my submission, I believe that the witness statement adds as a sort of like a guideline for the committee to understand my client's representations.
Thank you, Mr. Raymond. As a committee, we're keen, obviously, to deal with applications expeditiously. But what we'll have to do, given the procedural points have been raised in terms of the potential difficulties around public access to documents and an ability of the public to comment or object, we'll need to take some advice. What I propose to do is adjourn now so we can take advice from the officers on whether the hearing can proceed given the procedural problems. Just finally though, was there any particular reason for the delay in providing the documents?
Personally, I took instructions, and the first time I saw my client is on Friday, and I actually took those instructions and had the witness statement sent to you.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Yes, well, thank you for your comments, and obviously we'll come back to you after the adjournment, but we'll need to adjourn to discuss the procedural points that have been raised as preliminary issues. So what I propose to do, it's 10:15, is adjourn this hearing till 10:30, and so if we all reconvene in this hearing at 10:30, we should be able to give a view then as the panel on the procedural and the preliminary issues that have been raised. Okay, so we'll leave this hearing now, and we'll go into our own private session. Thank you.
Thank you.
is the live stream coming online?
Yes.
Yes, live stream has resumed. So thank you very much. This is the hearing of a potential grant of an application for a license for Rubino's Pizza, 1187 Bristol Road South, Northfield, Birmingham, B31 2SL. I'm Councillor Philip Davis, chairing Subcommittee A today to determine the licence application. We've just adjourned to consider a preliminary point concerning the receipt of documents. But before I deal with that, can I just check? I think someone has rung in on a mobile phone.
Chair, sorry to interrupt. It does seem that the person who had dialed in is no longer in the meeting.
Okay. It's just that we have to identify everybody who's in the meeting because there's a specific invitation to attendance. It's not an open meeting to anyone, though it is live streamed for the public. Okay, so thank you for that. That's cleared that up. We adjourned on a preliminary point concerning the submission of documents relevant to the case, which was submitted at 5:39 on Friday, and so have only been able to be dealt with this morning. The issue is whether we can proceed with this hearing, given that there has been no opportunity to redact those documents and make them publicly available, and thus allow the public to make any comments or objections they wish to the licence, which is one of the requirements of the hearing process. The panel has deliberated on this issue and has come to the view that it cannot proceed today because of that difficulty, because of the problem posed by the public not being able to comment, which is a fundamental requirement of the process. So what our decision is today, and I'll take your comments, Mr. Raymond, further, is that we intend to end this hearing and then set up a fresh hearing, and then the date for that would be next Monday, the 25th of October, at noon, where this application would be determined. Mr. Raymond, that's our decision. Do you wish to comment further?
Yes. First and foremost, what was the date? Monday the 20?
The 25th of October, next Monday. So a week from today at noon.
In my submissions, I believe that I would respectfully request that the hearing is continued on the basis that it would be unfair on my client to have to wait a further week or so for a determination on his application. In addition to that, as I said earlier on, before the matter was adjourned for a preliminary point discussion, that the witness statement is basically what's going to come out in my client's representation, so or oral representation. So I don't think it has much of a bearing, and I think that it would be a waste of council resources and my client's resources to adjourn this matter to the following Monday. We are content to continue today.
Well, I'll just confer with my colleagues. I don't think we need to get in private session. Colleagues, we determined on advice that we cannot proceed because of the difficulty of the public not being able to see the documents and raise objections in due time for today's hearing. My view is that we can't proceed today and that we should maintain the proposal that we go to Monday the 25th of October at noon for a fresh hearing. Is that your view?
Happy to confirm that view, Chair. Thank you.
Councillor Donaldson? Councillor Donaldson, I don't know whether she's lost the link.
Chair, it looks as though Councillor Donaldson has lost, that she's been lost or she's dropped out. Let me see if I can contact her.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, sorry.
Councillor Donaldson, I've just confirmed. I've just given our did you? I don't know whether you managed to catch all that.
Yeah,
I
caught most of it. Yes.
All right. Well, I was just recapping that our decision was to adjourn, was rather to not to continue this hearing and to have a fresh hearing next Monday, 25th of October, noon. Mr. Raymond wishes to continue with the hearing, but my view, Councillor Martin Straker-Wells' view, is that we shouldn't continue for the reasons already set out. Do you agree with that view?
I agree.
Yeah, okay. So, Mr. Raymond, the view of the panel remains that we can't proceed today and the matter must go to a fresh hearing on the 25th of October, and you'll be notified of the arrangements for that, and this will give us an opportunity. The panel may be different. Give the panel an opportunity to meet after all the conditions have been met for the publication of documents and for any public objections. And can I add, no criticism is implied by our decision, because we understand how difficult it is, particularly for representatives who can only act on instructions when they're received. So on that basis, that is the end of today's hearing, and I wish you all a pleasant rest of the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. We are
Thank
grateful
you,
for
Chair. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank